Hey fam! We talk a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh! On this channel, but we're doing something totally different today. We're going a little bit more behind the scenes, and our guest for this video is going to be Miss Jen Silverman. She's a voice actress whose voice you probably have heard pretty recently if you've been playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. She voices Sora from Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links.
Here it comes! The most unbearable monster you've ever seen! Breaker Bear!
As well as Asana in Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel Dawn of the Battle Royale.
I Maximum Summon! Emerge! Worm Excavator, the Heavy Cavalry Draco!
And maybe reprising that role as the episodes roll out on Hulu and Disney XD. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself a little further, Jen.
Hi guys, I'm Jen. I am a voice actress. I've been doing this for about 4 years now. Huge Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan. My Valentine is like my aesthetic, and Joey Wheeler is my husband. So yeah, that's basically all you need to know. I have a cat named Duncan. I love Dunkin' Donuts, and yeah.
Okay. Dunkin' Donuts are pretty good. I was going to ask, I know how I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I literally can remember the moment that I turned on the TV and they were airing the commercials, but people have heard enough about that. How did you get into Yu-Gi-Oh?
Okay, so I was in 5th grade, I want to say. Yeah, 5th grade, and everyone was bringing children's trading cards to school, and I was like, what is this? This is stupid. I don't know why everyone is wasting their money on children's trading cards. And then I saw one of the girls playing it, and she was kicking ass, and I was like, I want to be that girl that kicks ass. So I got myself a deck, and I was like, I had no idea what I was doing because we got all 4 decks. First was the Pegasus one, actually. And then, you stack the decks yay high. I didn't know what I was doing. They're like, you really should watch the show first. And I'm like, but it's for boys. I don't wanna. It's weird. And then my first episode was the very end of Yugi versus Pegasus, where he has the relinquished. I had no idea what was going on, but I was intrigued. I was watching anyway, and then I just continued watching, and that was it. I just got hooked, and I was like, okay, I like this thing. I like this. This is cool. I don't know what's happening yet. And then finally, as I watched the show, I started learning how to play, and one of my friends was teaching me how to play. And yeah.
Do you still play? Do you still have cards out?
Of course I still play. Now, in 2022, I've actually expanded my horizons in deck making because I used to have 2 decks. I used to have a Joey My deck, which consisted of Amazons and Joey Warriors.
Okay.
And a Harpy deck. And the Harpy deck has been revamped for years. But now I finally have a Melodious Sulfachord hybrid, which is really fun. It's not the greatest yet, but it's really fun. And then I have Fluffles, obviously. Red Eyes, which I'm working on a little bit more. And there's one more. Oh, yeah, Melfi's I want to start giving a hand to. So
That certainly outlines the Yu-Gi-Oh! Journey, but how did you decide you wanted to get into voice acting just 4 years ago?
So I actually wanted to go into voice acting a lot longer. I just didn't know how to go about it because I was a theater major, and I knew that I always wanted to do something in the arts. And, I am a plus-size female, and I can't dance. So when they say that you want to be on Broadway, you have to be a triple threat. You have to act, you have to sing, you have to dance. I could do 2 out of the 3. Dancing is not one of them. So I still wanted to showcase my talent, but then I realized, oh my God, why can't I be acting behind a screen, but being a character that I love for somebody else?
Do you feel like the acting background helped in voice acting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It helps. That is the fundamentals of voice acting because it's voice acting,
I've heard that from some voice directors. It's not really about just doing the voice. That's good if you can do it, but you have to do the voice crying. You have to do the voice laughing. You have to be mad. Okay.
So I didn't know how to go about it, but I realized in one of my friend's media studies class, she needed a voiceover artist. And I was like, oh, I'd love to try that. That sounds fun. And I got addicted to it. I was like, oh my God, I want to do this. I want to do this. So it wasn't until I went to Liberty City Anime Con and they had little kiosks outside. It wasn't even the dealer's den or the artist alley where they had a pamphlet with the Pharaoh on it. And I was like, oh, what's this? And said something along the lines of, you want to be a voice actor. I might actually have the pamphlet in my file cabinet. I'm not sure. But I was just like, what is this? So it was from Edge Studio, where Jay Snyder taught me and helped me on my demo. And at first, you know, you're at a con, you're thinking, it's probably full of you know, it's probably, excuse my language, anybody, but I was nervous, like, okay, we'll call you Tuesday and give you an evaluation with Jay and everything like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So she doesn't call me on Tuesday. So I was like, okay, this is, all right, this is not real. This is not real. And then Wednesday, she's like, I'm so sorry. We got overworked and everything. Set my schedule for September 28th, 2018. Yes, I still remember the date because I'm weird. Met him, did an evaluation. The rest was history. And I kept working toward my demo. And then we started doing mixers for voice acting and just more classes with casting directors. And then I took a few classes with Mr. Darren Dunstan. And the rest was history.
So for those unfamiliar with the name Darren Dunstan, I'm sorry, right? But that is the voice of Maximilian Pegasus. But at least from my understanding, he's gone on to direct and help out with a lot of the scripts for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that right?
Yeah, he's directing Sevens. He's having a blast. He basically said, you know, this is a lot of fun. You know, you have the nostalgia of old Yu-Gi-Oh, but still keeping it fresh and new with new Yu-Gi-Oh.
Let me ask, did you record Sora's lines for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links first, or was it Asana for Rush Duel, the game, and then further on in the series?
I got cast as Asana before I got cast as Sora.
Okay, the reason I asked, it was to see if one of the roles helped the other, right? If getting in the habit of saying, you know, I summon my monster, or I play my card, or I activate the spell, made it just a little more old hat when you got to the other character.
What's funny is they were sending auditions every now and again. So I auditioned for Roman, I auditioned for Mimi, and then they wanted me to audition for Leo. And I guess my Leo, they then had you audition for Sora. And they were like, we're basing this audition off of Leo. And my friend had just gotten me into Arc 5. So I knew everything about Sora at this point. So I was like, oh, God bless my friend who helped me with Arc 5. So I can probably give you this tidbit. It was like, Jack, duel me. Because it was Leo. So I said, duel me, Shay! Or like, yes, I get to duel Yuya again! And I guess it was like, yeah, you're Sora, congratulations! I was like, oh, really? Okay. Like, I was not expecting that, but it was so much fun.
And I didn't mean to interrupt, but did you find it kind of different, even with Asana, since you've done the role in both the show and the game? Was it kind of different just acting those lines in a void, because you probably have a short sheet where it's just like, I summon my monster. Okay, can we get that one more time? I summon my monster, and you're just doing almost the game like separate from an actual experience or story?
Yeah, because you don't know who your opponent is in the game. You're just doing it as a computer, essentially. Whereas in the show, you know, Asana has opponents that she duels and she's more into it. But there are still the same quotes. So I remember doing a session recently and I was like, oh, I remember this quote just like the game. He's like, no, not just like the game. You got to do it the other way. And then I said, oh, can I hear it from you? He's like, no. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was different because my friend Nick Corda, who plays Janko, he also was like, I realized when you're playing the game, you don't know what's going on because of the happenstance that the show came after. I was like, you know what? I realized that there are kind of a lot of spoilers in it. So you gotta just, if you have both the game and you're watching the show, go back to the game after you watch the show just so you can know what's going on.
And it really is a great game. We streamed it a couple of times on my channel, and it is just probably one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Games I've ever played. Not to throw shade on any particular Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, but it's got the world map, it's got the animations. If you haven't tried it, please try it. And you were recording the game line specifically. Was there any particular order, or was it all just, okay, this is what we're just trying to record today?
So I believe it was in a span of 5 hours. So
wow.
it was 2 days. So 2 hours for one session and 3, or it could have divvied up into 3 days. I'm not quite sure. 2, 2, and 3, and 1. But it was pretty much divvied up with the big quotes and then the magic cards. Wow, magic cards. Spell cards and then trap cards. And then effects, and then if there was some other weird stuff, that would be later, or if I couldn't do the voice as well as the shouty ones, we'd go back to it.
Was there any line that you remember that you just got tripped up on a million times, whether it was Sora or Asana?
Asana's monsters are freaking Drillzard, Worm, Heavy Excavator, Draco. They're just all mouthfuls. I don't remember one in particular, but I just know that I was saying it, and I was like, I can't say this right.
It was full of a lot of
Sora was
supercalifragilistic style names.
Sora was a lot easier, but it was very repetitive because it was like, fight for this, fight for that, fluffle this, yay! I'm gonna kill you now.
Well, that is part of Sora's character. But that said, now that you've finally, been able to tell people, because obviously this is a secret you've had to keep, with Leo, or not, excuse me, we've been talking so much about Leo, with Sora and Asana, did you get a chance to kind of take a victory lap? Did you get a chance to go to an anime convention or anything like that and just be whoever it was you wanted to be?
Not yet. I was hoping to debut Asana that my roommate made for me over Christmas time at KatsuCon. But unfortunately, COVID kind of nuked that. But I'm hoping this upcoming KatsuCon, because I usually run the photo shoots for Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, cool.
If I could run it as Asana and have a little R6, that would be so much fun.
With all of that in mind, have you ever thought about playing those particular decks at Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments, right? Now that you've got all this experience, we don't have Rush Duel cards yet, but we do have Fluffle cards and Frightfurs. You ever thought you might show up to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament and maybe surprise a few fans?
Absolutely, absolutely. And then just do the voice and they'd be like, what?
Well, it has been really wonderful being able to talk with Yu-Gi-Oh! Voice actors and such. And one of the things that's really important, because I know a lot of people watching this, they always really want to be a part of it. And when we know a little bit about your journey, you're probably a wiser voice actor than you were when you started 4 years ago. Do you have any tips of advice for people that are trying to get in it and aren't just dreaming about it, but really trying to get serious? And, well, they may not be as lucky as you to just roll up at an anime convention and pick up a flyer.
Yeah. Take classes. That's the number one thing. Improv is always helpful. Acting classes, always helpful. Even Shakespeare classes might help because you're getting into that old language, and usually for anime in particular, you're translating from Japanese. So, learning a different language or just seeing the differences and being able to compare and contrast and make it your own would definitely help. And just keep working at it. Keep positive. Don't let somebody else's path strike you down. Just do you. Don't get discouraged. If this is something you really want, you just got to keep going. Climb that ladder. You're never too old.
I know from my
never too old.
I know from my own artistic endeavors, part of the process, it's much like auditions, right? You just got to submit. And if you don't get the call back, that doesn't mean you're bad. You just got to keep at it because they picked whoever was right for the project, but you're likely right for some project that you just haven't found yet.
Right, exactly.
With that said, don't want to keep you too much longer, but do you have any special messages to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans out there?
If this is something you really want, heart of the cards, your own heart. I know it's cheesy, but just keep working at it, and you just never know what's out there for you. If you really want it, just do your research, make sure you're humble, stay humble, and just, be yourself, be your best self, and just make sure that this is something you really want.
Right on.
Don't get discouraged. Yeah.
Right on. Well, thank you so much, Jen. We'll go ahead and put all of your social media stuff in the comments of this video so you guys can go ahead and follow not only for the voice acting advice, but also for Jen's cool cosplays. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks as always.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, anytime.